This episode of the Alpha Nerds podcast is brought to you by Sponch. It's not safe for kids, but nothing that's fun is.
Welcome back to another episode of the Alpha Nerds podcast, a podcast that's coming from inside the house! I'm Pete.
I'm Bart.
And every week we talk about one franchise or intellectual property, video game, movie, whatever we feel like talking about that starts with a certain letter of the alphabet. And this week is X.
Xevious, Xeroxes. Ooh, Xerox. I fix Xerox printers.
Hi, rice cooker!
You stay, rice cooker. You stay in here because you're a valuable part of the family. Rice cooker is a valuable part of the family. Who else is going to trap King Piccolo for years?
Right? Good rice cooker. So, Bart, why don't you get started with your 5 honorable mentions?
Yeah, as we do every week, 5 honorable mentions. So first off for me is X from Mega Man X.
I can't say I'm familiar with the character.
You never played Mega Man X?
I did not.
Okay, so the theory is it's 100 years after your original Mega Man, and some scientist just finds X like buried in like a lab or something, and he notices that he has like an emotion chip. So he copies that chip, and they start putting in all robots.
Huh.
And to where now they call them Reploids instead of robots because they're like they have the replicated chip inside them, and it gives robots emotions. It's kind of cool. And then there's Dr. Wily and evil stuff and all manner of shenanigans happens later.
Oh, Dr. Wily.
But Mega Man X, that first one is an amazing game. It's super fun.
Right on.
I played the PSP version, which is a little bit different than the Super Nintendo version, but still super fun.
Cool.
Next for me is X-Files, which, because we grew up in the high time, or the peak of X-Files mania.
Yes, we did.
To the point where Pete sing the song. Starring David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. For a second there, I didn't know her name. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, hugely successful sci-fi show back in the 90s. I loved it. I thought it was great. One of the characters he plays like an alien who, like Mulder, of course, is trying to find the truth, and the alien's trying to stop him and beat him up and get him to stop looking. He's played by this actor. I do not remember his name, but he was in Star Trek Next Gen. He was in Deep Space Nine. He was in Enterprise. He was in the Orville. He's the dude who played Shao Kahn in the Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Huh.
That dude's been in everything.
Huh. Well, good for him.
Seriously. Jeffrey Meek. And he doesn't even have a picture on his... Man, that's sad.
No picture on his
doesn't
IMDb?
Doesn't even have a picture on his Wikipedia page.
Oh, that's weak.
Well, dude, you Well, let me make sure. Yeah, that's him, Jeffrey Meek. Good guy. Shame. Or wait, is it Brian Thompson? Yeah, it's Brian Thompson. I feel bad now. But yeah, Brian Thompson just dude is in everything. And he shows up in this as because he's a massive guy and he has this really deep voice. So he works perfectly for it. Because you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I'm not just describing Mystery Human.
Yeah, no.
Okay. But yeah, X-Files is great. X-Files is super fun. Another good episode is the one with, what's his name? Has Kathy Griffith in it. Kathy Griffin. Not Eddie Griffith's sister, Kathy. But Kathy Griffin. Where she played a pair of twins, where every time they were by each other, bad things happened.
Huh.
And, yeah, Mulder's learning about, their past from Scully over, a phone. And he's in his car, and then on one side he looks over, and there's the girl. And then on the other side, he looks over, and it's this twin. And he's like, oh, no. And I think, a pothole underneath it, or a manhole cover underneath his car just, bursts out or something. Or his car falls through the road. It's something wacky like that.
Yeah.
There was the guy who was, stealing people's fat. Oh, that was creepy.
Ugh.
There was the Amish dude who was getting hookers for some reason. That was a different one. But yeah, X-Files is crazy awesome fun. And it's connected to the Law and Order universe.
Really?
Because there's a... Richard Belzer, who's an actor on Law and Order, he played the comedian in Scarface.
Yeah.
He's just Richard Belzer, your actor. But he plays Detective Munch in Law and Order, SVU, and he plays Detective Munch in an episode where he talks to, like, dudes who are in this universe. And he plays Detective Munch in the Brady Bunch movie.
Huh.
X-Files is in the same universe as the Brady Bunch movie, which explains them way better.
I always suspected the Brady Bunch were just pod people.
There's antennas underneath the fro. That was an particularly evil laugh. Anyway, next up on my list is X-23.
Wolverine's daughter. Well,
yeah,
clone daughter.
We don't have a word in this language for my child as per clone.
Yeah.
And that's good. We really shouldn't have that word until it becomes necessary in real life. But fiction uses it a lot. I know Metal Gear Solid, they said father when they were referring to their clone dad.
Yeah.
Well, I guess clone father is how we say it, but...
You know, it actually, interestingly enough, gets, mistranslated in, manga and anime as well.
Really?
Dragon Ball Z, Babidi, Babidi's father, Bibidi?
Yeah?
Yeah. Not his father. Just, when Bibidi died, he made a magical clone of himself, and that's Babidi. Not at all a father-son thing. It's just, transferring his consciousness to a clone body.
But that's kind of what King Piccolo did, too. And I would call that father and son, because he, birthed him, even though he had his consciousness and his, Because it was him enough that Kami stayed alive.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the weird, he is my dad, but also me, but also green. Hi, I have a half Saiyan son. My name is Piccolo.
We got off track here.
But did we, though? Yes, we did. But X-23, I think her real name's Laura?
I believe so.
Yeah, but she's a fun character. She has 2 claws on the hands, and I think she actually took over as Wolverine in the comics. Because Logan's dead or retired or something.
Right. And she's actually got 1 claw on each foot. So same number of claws as Wolverine, just a little spread out.
Different distribution. Which I think his actual kid... Oh, frick, what was his name? He was Dark Wolverine in the Dark Avenger. He's an awful child. His son is terrible. His clone daughter is awesome.
Isn't Wolverine's son some kind of psychic mastermind or some shit?
No, that's Professor X's son.
Man, the fucking Marvel timeline's more complicated than Game of Thrones, I swear.
Oh, wait till you get to Cable. But yeah, I was thinking about this the other, since we're talking about X-Men, I was thinking about this the other day. If Professor X just said what his life was, you would whirl his wheelchair right into the old folks' home. My brother's really tall. Oh, really? He found a gem in Egypt that gave him powers. Uh-huh. My son is many people. Uh-huh. I have an alien wife. Okay there, Grandpa. We're just going to take you. All of this is true and none of it makes sense.
Yep.
Speaking of things that don't make sense, my number 4 is Xanadu.
Xanadu.
Do you know anything about Xanadu?
I remember the song.
That's what this came from. It was a movie that the song got birthed out of.
Ah.
That was a neon lens flare-y 80s phenomenon with neon glowy people and dance music. Oh, it's awful.
I think I remember something about that. It looked like it was shot in headache vision.
Right? What was with those 70s cameras where they're so the sparkles? I want the sparkles to leave a bit of an after image in the camera.
I want every viewer to see spots and immediately regret the decision to see this.
Oh, this is going to be pretty cool.
I'm blind!
She's so pretty in her sequence, like crying.
So pretty.
And because we like ending on a high note, my last one, because I'm not going to end on Xanadu. My last one is XCOM, the video game series.
Oh.
Which looks really fun. I've never played it. Looks fun. There's a board game of it that's actually, it's one of the first board games that had an app, and you had to have the app in order to play the game.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. But it would give you, like, I think it gave you orders or something. Anyways, doesn't matter. But the premise of the story is aliens have taken over the planet. You are the XCOM unit, who's an alliance of, like, all these different nations trying to take stuff back from the aliens. And how it usually goes is you take your squad, you build them up really strong, you give them the best guns, the best armor. They die. Then you bring out your scrubs. They die faster. And then you're done. The end of the game.
Oh. Hooray.
It's like, oh, why don't you keep a fully stocked backup squad? Why doesn't the game give you enough resources to keep a fully stocked backup squad? I watched Pro Jared. He did a Let's Play of this where every time he got to a decision of, are we going to save the scientists? Or because you'll hit these decisions where, like, the council has to make a decision.
Yeah.
He left it up to his audience. He's like, put in the comments whether you want X, Y, or Z. Whichever one has more, we'll do that next time. It was really fun. It was really cool.
Oh, nice.
And he did it again for XCOM 2, and then I don't think he did it after that. But, yeah, it was really fun. And that's 5. That's 5 for me. I'm pretty sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5 for me.
Nice.
So, Pete, what you got for us this week?
My pickings are slim. I don't have a whole lot in my repertoire that starts with X. So, first up is X-Men Evolution.
Hey! We were just talking about this.
Yeah. And, so, Bart, did you ever see that show?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, it was...
Dude, that's...
It was on, like, the WB Saturday Morning Kids thing.
Back when WB Network existed.
Yeah.
All you youngins grew up with the CW. I remember when that was 2 networks, and one of them had the word Paramount in it.
But, yeah, one thing I absolutely love about X-Men Evolution was Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was just a smartass the whole time, and it was great.
Yeah. They did really good things. I don't know if they invented him, but they pushed Spike really heavily.
They did, yeah.
I did not like Spike that much.
I think they were trying to, like, because it was still back when, like, there weren't a whole lot of people of color in the spotlight for shows, especially animation.
Yeah. Still a problem, but not as bad.
Yeah. But, like, it had its moments. And honestly, like, I can't even remember how that series ended. I think it, like, ended on a cliffhanger because, like, they were waking up Apocalypse or something like that. And then it was just like, oh, no more.
Yeah.
So,
one thing I liked that it did was, since they were all in, like, high school, it got rid of the Cyclops Wolverine.
Yeah, that whole rivalry.
Yeah, I never really understood that, like, I never really got that as, like, a rivalry. Because I watched the, like, X-Men, like, cartoon from the 90s back when I was, like, a youngin'.
Yeah.
And if you miss those first few episodes, they just don't really talk, like, after that.
Yeah. But, anyway. So, next up is XO Orpheus. And this is a book of just, like, short stories that I really like. And it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've never actually read this one. I remember going to the store to get it with you.
Yeah. Yeah. After that is Xavier Renegade Angel. God help you if you remember this show. Because it was just... It was like an unwarranted injection of mystery drugs into your brain.
It looked like the worst.
It was just a bad trip, man.
Yeah. It looked like... Okay, so you know how PS1 games just always looked a little bit bad?
They always, like... You can tell that people tried to make things smooth, but there was still just, like, polygons everywhere.
Yeah.
And, like, God bless you. You tried to make this hill round, but still triangular as shit.
Yep.
But
it looked like you took a PS1 game and then gave that person a computer from the future, but they still only know how to make PS1 games, so they don't know how to make cool stuff.
Yeah.
They're just I don't know, man. It just looks like this. Just be okay with this. Gosh.
Pretty much, yeah. Just, ugh. Anyway. Oh, God. Just, that show was gross.
So bad.
Ugh. Next up is X-Force.
Yeah.
I don't know jack about X-Force. I just know it's going to be in the new Deadpool movie because he said so.
Yep. X-Force was at one time, I don't know if it still is, the best-selling comic book of all time. Because it was at that peak of a comic fury, and it was issue 1 done by Rob Liefeld. So it was the most successful comic book for years. Was X-Force #1. It starred Cable and Domino and no Deadpool, but Shatterstar and Shatterstar? Yeah, Shatterstar. All these cool people. X-Force is great. And Deadpool 2 looks like it's going to be super awesome. Because I was at the movies today and I saw the promo for it.
Nice.
The one with Sheriff Woody? Or Sheriff Deadpool?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Alright, and last up is Xenomorphs. The alien from Alien. And Aliens. And all the other Alien movies.
Dang! Okay, I was hoping you'd go and Aliens. Aliens are.
Aliens are Alien harder.
Alien 5, but the 5 is stylized, so it's just another S.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alien 6, I bet you thought we were out of aliens. You are incorrect.
And it also made a pretty decent video game, honestly. The Alien, what was it? It was like a survival horror game.
Isolation? The one where there's
That's
only
the
one
one.
alien?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're basically wandering a ship with a xenomorph, and it's spooky.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't play it myself, but I watched Team 4 Star's Let's Play of it, where they had the guy playing Krillin play it in character, because that's what they do. They have Krillin play all the horror games because he's a screamer.
Yes, he is. The bit I like that they do is the screams that are just constant. It's like you're taking air out of a Krillin scream gun and just pushing it in rapidly with a bicycle bump.
Yeah. It's I honestly love the ones where it's he sees a monster and he immediately turns around. I think it was when he was playing Slender Man, and he turns around and starts running the other direction. Just no, 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 no! I'm dying.
But yeah, what was I talking about? It also makes a super bad game.
Yeah.
With X-Men Colonial Marines by Gearbox Software. Gearbox.
Borderlands 3 is the only reason you're still allowed to make games.
Aliens Colonial Marines paid for the development of Borderlands 2, so I think they know that.
Yeah.
Sega gave them, I think it was $26 million to make that game, and all that money went to Borderlands, and you could tell.
Yeah. Honestly, Borderlands 2 was a lot of fun.
That's what I hear.
I played it multiple times. All right, Bart, so why don't you get us started with what you researched this week?
All right, so this week I watched an amazing film from 2002 called Triple X.
Are we allowed to talk about something rated that mature on this podcast?
So, cool thing about the X rating, it became NC-17.
Ah.
They loosened up the restrictions on the X rating, so our movies could do more stuff, and then they tightened the restrictions on NC-17. Which another fun fact: so when they were releasing Scarface, he sent them 2 or 3 cuts, and they're like, "We're not going to lower this below X," and he took them to court. And the courts agreed with him, and they were like, "Look, you can't just refuse to not rate the movie." Or, you can't, because X rating and an NC-17 rating is a death sentence to a film.
Yeah.
because you won't be released in most theaters, and so you're kind of just done.
Yep.
So what they did was they said, look, you can't hold this guy basically you can't hold a multi-million-dollar picture hostage like this. So he'll give you a cut of the film, give that at most an R rating, do your thing. And he said, okay. So he went back to the studio and he's like, wait a minute. They don't know what I'm going to send them. And the first cut's way worse. So he sent them the first cut is to Scarface, and that's the one we see. But back to Triple X, your actioniest of action movies. So actiony that there's actually a vehicle as the movie, and it is a Vin Diesel vehicle. This is post Fast and the Furious. We're trying to take Vin Diesel and make him his own successful star. And it's post Iron Giant too, but Iron Giant, you didn't really know it was him. And it was amazing.
It was probably Vin Diesel's best work.
Superman. I like Groot. I'm a big Groot fan. I know you're not as big a Groot fan.
No, I love Groot. Baby Groot's what pisses me off.
That is current Groot. That is status quo Groot.
Now, Groot died, man.
I did look this up, and you are right that it is a separate yet equally planish Groot.
It is the same species as Groot, and it says that it is Groot, but it is not Groot.
To be fair, if everybody called me a certain thing since the day I was born, like, Bart, I'd say that was my name too.
This is exactly the same. Have you ever watched Beer Fest?
Yes, I have. Beer Fest is great.
Fucking Landfill's twin brother who insists on being called Landfill.
Yes,
it's exactly the same as that.
Oh, that dude was so funny.
Yeah.
Why don't you call me Landfill? It's like he's never left. I think if they'd made Weed Fest, they would have killed him off and then had another brother come in.
Probably.
And then just kept having a series of killing people off.
Yeah.
Until you get back to the guy who actually was in college with them. And that the guy you met in Beer Fest 1 was a completely different dude.
Yeah.
Went to prison. Got Muslim. Gosh, that movie's great.
So back to Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. So the movie's a Vin Diesel vehicle, and every time you have a vehicle, you have to partner it with another highly successful actor, right?
Right.
So you have your Entrapment, you have Catherine Zeta-Jones, that's your star you want in the making, and you partner her up with Sean Connery to make the movie more successful.
Right.
I believe this was documented in Workaholics.
Probably.
You've never seen that episode?
I haven't.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. She dips
Workaholics is on Netflix now, right?
Oh, I have no idea. My brother told me about this bit, and I've been doing it for months. But so for this vehicle, they took Vin Diesel. This is the guy we want to make a star. They partnered up with Samuel L. Jackson because this was 2002, and if Samuel L. Jackson was not in a movie, it was illegal to release that movie in theaters. The man did between 2000 and 2005 21 films.
God damn.
Seriously.
How's that even possible?
Samuel Jackson, dude. He's in everything.
Yeah.
Family Guy did a bit about him being in everything.
Yeah, that's true. Even in Brian's porn. All right, now, Samuel, when you lay her in front of the fire, I want you to face the camera. What are they doing here? So early 2000s, and it reeks of the early 2000s. Because the early 2000s was, this is the new millennium, man. We're doing everything different. It's the same thing that happens every decade. We're remember TV shows being about, I'm a 90s woman. Well, yeah, we're all 90s women, except for the men. And even some of them. Yeah.
But, every decade they try to, be nah, man, I'm a 2000s guy, or I'm of the new millennium, that kind of thing. So this film reeks of that. They are okay, we want to make a spy movie, but we don't want it to be we don't want it, this ain't your daddy's James Bond, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We want this to be a new, epic, cool guy James Bond. So, what's cool in the early 2000s? A post-1990s world. Piercings. Gotta have some piercings. Tattoos.
All over.
All cool guys have tattoos, man. Nipple
gotta have
tattoos.
that barbed wire shit.
Nipple tattoos. Because that's cool.
Sure. I feel like we're getting a little off track here, Vin.
Mesh shirts?
Vincent, I think you just want to, like... Vincent, do you need to talk to someone about something?
Fur coats and leather?
Okay, now the conversation is moot.
One of those, this explains a lot. Not nearly enough, but I don't want to hear that part of it. This explains enough. But yeah, like everybody's wearing ridiculous outfits. There's a club scene where a girl walks in and she's wearing this like weird skull cap thing with her hair. She looks like a character from X-Men. I mean, we were talking about them a lot, but seriously, man. But just, I saw the mesh shirt and I was like, oh my gosh, you're so precious. CRT monitors. Oh, like nothing says I'm of the early 2000s like a CRT monitor.
Oh man, we had some stupid shit back then.
Yep. So your villains are named Anarchy 99. We were Anarchy 99, formed in 1999. We are Russian.
Because all screen names ended with a year back then.
Gosh, that is a total screen name. But yeah, so your villains are Russian. It's set in Prague, and the movie was filmed in Austria. I have no idea what the frick's going on anymore.
It's a Vin Diesel movie. If you know what's going on, then you're fucking hammered.
Gosh, I knew what was going on in Pitch Black. Pitch Black, genius, by the way.
Yeah.
Riddick, worse at times, better at times. The part with the dog, genius.
Was that the one that we saw, like, a couple of years back?
In theaters, yeah.
Yeah. That one was weird. Like, I honestly, I left that theater and I'm like, what the fuck? What just went on?
Yeah.
Did anything get resolved? I don't think it did.
Okay, the ending, not great, but there was good parts of that movie. It looked really good on the big screen.
Yeah, it did.
So, music. What's our early 2000s music? Hatebreed, Rammstein, Disturbed. Can't have, like, this is the pinnacle, this is your holy trinity of early 2000s butt rock.
This is just butt rock.
It's butt rock. Dude, my brother had a Hatebreed CD, and I was listening to the song, I'm like, have I heard this song before? He's like, no, it's like 3 songs later. I'm like, it sounds exactly the same. He's like, yeah, they only use the same 4 chords in their song. And I'm like, why are you a band? Dude in Hatebreed, by the way, hosted Headbangers Ball for a very long time, and seems like a really cool dude. I don't know him personally. But yeah, this scene has like this like Russian band, maybe they're Czech, I don't know. But they like got the like black face paint all over their bodies. They've got like weird masks, like dude in a gas mask. There's one dude who has a thing that is a flamethrower attached to his face. Which is very dangerous. And not where I want flames at. But whatever. Again, this is early 2000s, so you have to put yourself back in that mindset. Like, remember the X Games?
Yep.
This movie won't let you forget the X Games.
Oh, boy.
Because that's the thing. The thing is that he's a internet celebrity video making star. This is back when they would sell, like, DVDs of all the stunts going on. Because there wasn't a YouTube where you could sell it like that. And, like, that he's this, like, X Games, like, illegal stunt internet guy who now, like, got recruited by the NSA of all things to be this, like, cool secret agent guy. So the NSA is just, like, secret agent speckle. Like, we don't want to use the CIA, but we can't use the FBI because they have jurisdiction laws. So
listen,
we're just going
to
use
something to fill the hole here.
That's the NSA. Because Halle Berry's character in the last Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie, NSA. Don't make no sense, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have... So going from like the X Game parts, which is a lot of like motorcycles and like motocross stuff and snowboarding and cars and paragliding, like this is a pre-born stunt world. Because it was 2002, Bourne was, I think, maybe the same year? Or maybe the year afterwards. But you didn't have the, like, drawn-out, like, where your hero's getting beat up as much as the bad guys are fights. Mm-hmm. You didn't have your big, like long car chases. You had like little bits that was just a lot of stuff going on in a very short amount of time.
Right.
Your fights are quick. You're like, it's usually like, and then the guy's done.
Yeah.
And it's really fast. So there's a scene where they're at a Colombian like plantation where they're growing coke. And then the like Colombian military comes in and just starts shooting up everything. And then he has to like get a motorcycle to get one of his like friends out and all this stuff. There's so many explosions, which looks great because it was filmed at night, so everything just looks awesome.
Nice.
Oh gosh, it's so good. But then there's a scene where he like sees a building that like has a roof that's like the right angle, and he uses that as a ramp to take the motorcycle off. And there's a shot where he pops up over the roof. It's like straight on the roof. He pops up over the roof. You see his face, the motorcycle going over the roof, and then the helicopter in the background. And since it's your like pre-CGI world, where before you could just composite these things however you wanted to, it is so good. That's just clever camera positioning, good stunt coordination. Oh, it looks so good.
Nice.
Like, that's why I love it. That's one of the great things about this movie is that it's a pre-heavy CGI world. There are CGI scenes, like when they did stunts on the motorcycles, they'd have helmets on and they'd just CGI out the helmets. They'd CGI like there's a scene where a submarine is flying through the water, going at like 80 miles an hour, which is very unrealistic for things that go on water.
Right.
Boats are slow. Boats are real slow.
Yeah.
But they wanted to cover up, they wanted to make a bigger like splash to like hide some of the stuff, some of the rigs that were like under the boat that were actually making it go. So they CGI'd extra water to cover up what was going on underneath. And that's fine. I think that's reasonable. But yeah, when the CGI is bad, it's just really, really, really bad. So, like, think of, like, what was an early 2000s movie that had bad ones? Lost in Space.
Oh,
yes. The Gary Oldman merges with the Spider Dude.
Yeah, because if there's something that the world needed, it was a pedophile spider.
Yeah. Gosh, that's just so... It was awful. They're making a new one of those, though.
They are. And I'm sure that the pedophile spider will be much more highly rendered.
I don't think they're going to have a pedophile spider.
You can't have Lost in Space without it.
You really can. Because what they're doing is they're just stuck on a planet. They're not like actually going around to other planets or in a ship at all.
Yeah.
They're just like, ship crashed, we're here, we kind of have to accept this world.
Kind of boring.
Yeah. But the stunt work in this movie is awesome. Like, somebody taught Vin Diesel not how to ride a snowboard, but how to ride it enough that he looks like he's still doing it. Like, when somebody falls off a thing, they're actually falling off the thing. When somebody's hanging out the side of a car, they're actually hanging off the side of the car. There's a stunt where he's attached to this like sub that's going through the water with a parachute, and he slides down the zip line to like meet it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Nice.
But yeah, it is definitely a relic of its age. If you need something to make that zeitgeist of we're a super cool Russian hacker organization, you have CRT monitors. Like everywhere. We have this chemical that can kill people. You have CRT monitors. No, you don't. You don't have flat screens.
Hey, speaking of like 90s zeitgeist, you remember back when like a floppy disk could save or destroy the world?
Oh yeah, dude. So good. In this one, they tell them, like, you have to get the hard drive out. You have to get the hard drive out. And I'm like, why was it out before you started the thing? Isn't that one of those things that we just kind of like install and we just kind of leave there? You have your secret illegal base that's guarded by guns all the time. What's the point of keeping the hard drive out separate? That doesn't make any sense.
Right? I mean, come on.
And there's probably 40 gigs on that hard drive, and it blew their freaking minds back then.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting on a 22 gig copy of Moana on Blu-ray, and I'm like, I don't know what you poppers are talking about. Gosh, so bad.
Now I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive that literally fits in my pocket.
Yes.
With room for change.
I love living in the future.
That's great. I mean, except for this fucking orange asshole that keeps screaming about shit.
But yeah, Triple X is your pinnacle, like, I'm a cool guy in the early 1990s. Wah! Like, it's one of those, like, dudes who make the X... Well, maybe it's because we're looking at it from, like, 20 years later. Like, guys in the X Games weren't super tough, rad guys. Tony Hawk has kids, and he has to pay the bills, and that's why he has 17 video games.
Yeah.
Which, I've been Tony Hawk, I'd do the exact same thing. I don't blame him at all. Corey Hart, who's another dude in here, he's a motocross like champion, or he was at the time. Now has a tattoo shop in Vegas and a TV show based on that tattoo shop in Vegas. You know why? Because he had bills to pay, and he paid the bills.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a few cameos in this film, and it's pretty much just, or no, because there's Dave Mirra was at the like big after party after he stole a senator's car and drove it off a bridge.
I forgot about that. Right.
And then the cops break in and everybody runs, and then he's like, "Okay, turn the music down." But Danny Trejo's in this. Danny Trejo is great.
Danny Trejo's amazing in anything.
But yeah, Danny Trejo's in this. Danny Trejo's awesome. Like, I just give me a movie where Danny Trejo is just being awesome. And they did. It was called Machete. Everybody loved it.
It was so good. Did you ever see the sequel, Machete Kills?
No, I didn't.
It's ridiculous.
But this movie is an example of your perfect 1990s PG-13 movie where there's no blood and guts because this is before you could do CGI blood. It's actiony enough that it could still be put on TV. And it feels like it. And, it spawned 2 sequels, State of the Union, and which starred Ice Cube as Triple X, and they actually killed Xander Cage off. And then Triple X 3, The Return of Xander Cage, which I guess he's back. And I haven't watched that one. But I want to watch that one because I want to see what that, like, 2000s cheese does when it's been left to get moldy for, like, a decade. Like, I want to see it, man. Like, it's free on Amazon. I'm probably going to watch it sometime. Well, I might watch it sometime this week, but, so good.
It's just, like, I was laughing because, like, you mentioned cheese, and I just watched Dimitri Martin's special the other day, where he's talking about, like, how milk has, like, a weird cycle. Like, first it becomes spoiled, then it becomes disgusting, then it becomes dangerous, then it becomes cheese. Way to turn it around, milk.
Yeah.
But yeah. So now I can't think of the word cheese without thinking of that skit.
You have like 3 days where every time you see the word cheese, you're gonna be like, yeah. But yeah, Triple X, really good, really bad movie.
Right on.
Like, just when it's bad, it's so dumb. So dumb. This has another problem of talking about things in public you should not be talking about in public. There's a lot of movies that do it, but this one's particularly bad.
Like,
I'm a secret agent.
Where they're talking about stuff in public?
I'm a secret agent. You're in the middle of a crowded restaurant. You should not be saying this.
Yeah.
Or like talking about a guy they just murdered. That's the one I see the most is like talking about a dude they just murdered, like walking down the street. It's like, dude, people can hear you.
Dude, you're at the bank.
What the heck's wrong with you?
Your voice is being recorded.
You know, it's something I don't think I've really seen in a long time in TV is a person going to the bank.
Well,
I guess Luke Cage doesn't really have a reason to go to the bank, though.
I mean, like, I guess it's not something that people really do that much anymore because, you know, online banking. So,
yeah.
It's kind of like, people use cell phones more, they use banks less, or at least a physical bank.
Another byproduct of this movie was the new editions of the GTOs that they did back when this came out.
Oh.
Because they had the, like, 1950s GTO in this movie, and it looks so sweet. But yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about this very good, very bad movie. Pete, what have you got for us? Letter X. Go for it.
All right, this week I got Xiaolin Showdown.
But Pete, that starts with an SH, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. It's another concoction of WB Kids.
Somebody scraped the gray matter off the wall because you've just blown my mind.
So, this show started in 2003.
Hey!
And it starts... so, it ran for 52 episodes.
That's 2 anime seasons.
Yes, it is. And it was basically around these 4 young monks who came from, like, different parts of the world.
I can interrupt every sentence.
Yes, you can!
Go.
But, so, it's got, like, a little bit of that Captain Planet vibe, you know? But, so, we have Omi from the Shaolin Temple. Well, actually, hang on. Yeah, so, Omi from the Xiaolin Temple. Not Shaolin, Xiaolin.
Still bald and has the, like, dots, but...
Yeah. He's got that Krillin look about him.
Do you know how they do that in real life?
They just... I was going to make a joke about, like, losing at tic-tac-toe, but how do they do it?
Really. They put incense on your head and they burn it down to nothing.
That is terrifying.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. I ain't doing that. And
No.
I'm not about to fuck with anyone who's got that. Because they are fucking down for anything, apparently.
Yeah.
They are bout it. You like that one?
Yeah, okay.
They are bout it.
Okay, you got me, go.
Okay. So, you got Omi from the Xiaolin Temple. You got Kimiko from Japan. You got Raimundo from Rio de Janeiro. And you got Clay from Texas.
Clay was great.
Clay was great.
Did you see the one where he had to fight the mime ninja?
Yes.
And he just punches himself in the eyeball because he could take the hit.
It was great. Okay. So, this show was pretty fucking ridiculous. They center around these magical artifacts called Shengong Wu. And each one has, like, a different crazy-ass fucking power. Like the changing chopsticks that shrink you down to the size of a grain of rice. And then there's the Denshi Bunny, which turned you into electricity. Because bunnies are fast, like electricity.
I guess. There was one, what was the one with the, like, clouds? It, like, made a thunderstorm. They used it all the time.
I can't remember.
It's like the one they started off with. They used that thing constantly.
Yeah. Let's see. There's the Falcon's Eye, which lets you see through solid objects. There's the Gills of Hamachi, which let you breathe underwater. Because it worked like, it was like a collar thing that just, like, magically gave you gills, I guess.
Huh, cool.
There's the Golden Tiger Claws, which I don't think they, like, ever really, stop to point out that it rips holes in space and time to let you just instantly travel somewhere else. Like, you just basically rip a hole in reality and just hop right through it, and it's like, oh, I'm in Las Vegas now. I was on the moon, or some equally ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah, it got pretty crazy. Okay, I think the one I'm thinking of is the Eye of Dashi, which lets you shoot lightning.
Probably, yeah. I think that's right. Yeah, that one was weird too. And then there's the Lunar Locket, which let you control the moon. I'm going to say that again, because I don't think anyone's taking the journey with me. It lets you control the moon.
You can just, like, Piccolo status, moon!
You could make it go straight up Majora's Mask and just, fuck Brazil!
Like, that is not, like, unless you're fighting somebody who can't swim very close to the coast, like, very close.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know, a waterbender? Like, what can you do?
it makes like little to no sense.
But this, okay, do you think this show would have existed without Jackie Chan Adventures, another show about trying to find Chinese artifacts?
Easily no. No, not at all. Not at all. A show where people of Asian ancestry are going around collecting magical Chinese artifacts?
Are they also followed by an American who's listening to orders from an evil spirit?
Get out of my head, because you're talking about Jack Spicer and Woo-Ya!
Yeah.
Okay. So,
And, gosh, what was the name? It was Shin something, and the jerk guy in the green suit from Jackie Chan Adventures.
See,
See, it does it in both of them. Oh, gosh.
Fuck.
Screw it.
God damn it. What was the name of that fucking dragon? It was like Shen Long or something.
I don't even remember. Well, Shenlong was the one from...
Shendu.
Shendu.
Yeah. It was Shen something. Yeah. I don't remember the name of the rich guy in the green suit.
Yeah,
but he had like... He easily never lost a game of Who's the Antag.
Oh, no. Like, evil dude?
Like
he was just...
He had, like, hair swoops going into his face, and he also had a ponytail. That is classic anime bad guy shit.
Valmont.
Early
2000s. Valmont.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. It hurts.
All right, let's get this train back on the tracks.
It hurts too much. Okay, so each episode had a showdown. Big surprise. The show called Xiaolin Showdown has a showdown. So, like, each episode, like, there's one new Shengong Wu that has revealed itself because apparently these things are, like, in stasis or something, and then, like, they activate, kind of, but whatever.
Okay.
So, you have the people of the Xiaolin Temple, and then you have the people of the Heilin Temple, which, as of right now, is 2 people, Jack Spicer and Woo-Ya. Jack Spicer is, like, he's kind of like your boy genius inventor bad guy, and he gets around on these, like, helicopter blades that just pop out of his backpack. Like, there's 2 of them, and he just kind of, like, flutters around on those like a little gnat.
I loved his, like, hypnosis goggles.
Those made no sense.
Yeah, they did. I loved them.
Yeah, they were ridiculous. And he also had, like, some serious, like, somebody misinformed him about how to apply mascara.
Mm-hmm.
Or eyeshadow. Or both those things.
Yeah, his face just looks like a tic-tac-toe board.
I don't think it was... Was it a tic-tac? Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
He's bad at makeup.
Yeah, we got him.
That roasted!
Sting. Yeah!
Anyway.
We're hip. We're young. Come on. I've got my party pants on.
God. We're both almost 30.
Yeah. Do you not feel almost 30? I do.
Dude, my knees are like almost 100% powder at this point.
Hey, you're halfway to being Batman.
I can start sprinkling it to spice up my meals. Like, that's good knee.
So, Woo-Ya.
Yeah, Woo-Ya is this 1,500-year-old Heilin witch. And for most of, like, for about half the series, she just exists as a spooky ghost mask. And she's just, like, barking orders at Jack Spicer. And she's got, like, the most grating voice I've heard of almost any villain.
Like, doesn't she have that standard, like, shrill, like, old lady voice?
Pretty much, like, she just shrieks everything she says. Like, I'm honestly surprised that, Jack Spicer didn't just take a penknife and just gouge his ears out with it.
Dark.
Yeah. Well, dude, like, just listen to somebody saying, just this regular sentence. Don't forget to go to the grocery store and pick up some milk because it went bad yesterday!
Where's my knife?
That, all day.
Where's my knife?
It would be like if Cobra Commander and Skeletor just had the angriest sex.
Pete,
yeah.
You're my hero. I want you to know that.
Just angry faceplate meeting skull sex.
Xiaolin Showdown. Letter X. Gotta go.
So, yeah, each episode, like, there's a new Shengang Wu, and then both teams are trying to find it, and most of the time, like, they'll touch it at the same time. The odds of that are infinitesimal, but who gives a shit anymore? Because now, one person gets to choose a contest to decide who it shall go to. In order to enter this contest, you have to ante up your own Shengang Wu. So it's kind of a winner-take-all, like, you go in with one, you leave with three sort of thing, whatever. And this gets, like, crazier and crazier and crazier the more it happens, and the more, like, enemies start showing up and allying and everything like that. And at one point, there is an 8-way fight for one Shengang Wu.
That's insane.
It is insane. It's straight up ridiculous.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
One of those, the math on that doesn't work out. Just take it.
Yeah.
Just take it. Well, it's one of those, can I just declare this whenever? Can I just find one of them when they're alone and be like, I challenge you. Xiaolin Showdown. Pacha!
Yeah. And going along with all of this is this dragon, this tiny little dragon, like Mushu-sized dragon named Dojo, who is kind of like a walking rule book on how Xiaolin Showdowns are supposed to go. And yeah, that's basically like his whole point. He is walking exposition. He's also the Xiaolin Temple's main mode of transportation because he can actually like grow super big, and then they just ride on him.
Oh my gosh, I remember this.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so damn stupid.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was pretty watchable. Like,
yeah, it was fun.
It was fun to watch. I kind of like I would kind of like leave the show feeling dirty. But honestly, there were some parts I really enjoyed about it.
I will say this was probably like we were growing out of this era of cartoons when this one was coming on.
Pretty much. And luckily
or at least I
did,
was.
because the show's sequel, Xiaolin Chronicles, is so bad. I gave it a shot. I honestly thought like, oh, wow, they brought it back for like a sort of like a reboot kind of, or a continuation. Cool. Not cool. First 5 minutes, we're introduced to another Xiaolin monk that looks a lot like Omi, except he's smaller, and he wears big, racist for Chinese people glasses, and his name is Ping Pong!
I am looking this up because I refuse to live my life without knowing what this looks like.
I'm just going to give you a minute. Just
Oh.
there it is. Yeah, I'm not lying, am I?
I'm assuming they did it because his head looks like a ping pong ball and like ping pong was a Chinese sport.
You can tell yourself that all you want.
Yeah. That's not the best.
That's like almost as bad as the fucking Chinese cat in Aristocats.
Oh, I don't know about that. That one was
playing
bad.
chopsticks with chopsticks.
Yeah.
Ugh. God. Cartoon racism. It's
never gonna fully go away. I hope one day it goes away, but I'm not sure.
It's man. It's
I live in the decade where Sausage Party came out, so yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
You go make of that what you will.
Sausage Party wasn't too bad, though.
I don't know, man.
Like, okay, immature, without a doubt. Easy, like, really easy jokes that the wrong people are going to laugh way too hard at. Yeah. So, yeah, the show was pretty decent. It ran for a respectable amount of time, and it came back as the continuation that no one asked for and no one wanted.
Has any of those ever worked? Well, I guess New Adventures of Batman, but like, is any of those like we're gonna do a semi? Well, I guess Ben 10. Gosh, Naruto. I guess these do work. Weird.
It really depends. Well, Naruto didn't really like leave and come back. Like there was a specific part where like they had to basically skip 3 years because they were like, listen, we can't just keep doing these fucking training montages. Can we just like cut to 3 years later and everybody's way better at what they're practicing?
You do cool stuff.
And
Pachink.
ta-da, there it is, and everybody gets a character redesign, and it's pretty good. Ben 10, I have no fucking clue. I don't know what the timeline is on that. I just know there's like 10 different fucking series.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were going for. They realized that like Ben 10 didn't really apply to the watch anymore, so they just tried to make it 10 different series.
Maybe. It's
Because I remember watching the one with the 11th one. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I watched the episode after that. I'm like, oh, so we're just ignoring, we're just keeping the name of this show? I mean, okay, that's fine, whatever. Like, you don't got to take one.
Well, it's
Well, you
because
could have
like,
taken.
it's because his last name is Tennyson, so
Well, it's because he turned into 10 aliens. That's why it's Tennyson.
yeah. Well,
Well, let's acknowledge what came first here in the Ben 10 lore.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Like, we all know why it was called Ben 10.
Yeah, we do. We do.
So, I mean, we have been going off on rants.
Yeah, we have.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else you'd like to say about Xiaolin Showdown? Because it's such a like engrossing subject that just keeps bringing us back.
Yeah. There's not much else. I mean, it's kind of the same episode over and over again. There are slight bits of character development every so often. Like, Raimundo becomes, like, a little bit evil for a little bit, but then he turns good again, but not before returning Wuya to a human form, which is, like, way more powerful than her ghost form. But, yeah, honestly, it's a good show. And there's some minor character development, but they seem to kind of, like, bail on it halfway through. Or
Yeah.
they just, like, haphazardly resolve it. It's just kind of... blech.
So do they have the... Because your four main characters, you have Omi, who is your... the one closest to the situation that's going on, because he grew up in the temple.
Yeah.
Who speaks English with a Chinese accent and does the Starfire thing of just not fully understanding the language.
Pretty much.
You have Clay, whose character is I am very large and from Texas.
Yep. Large and sturdy and super strong and whatnot. Yeah.
You have Raimundo, who is sneaky?
Mischievous, I guess. Kind of.
And, what's the girl? The Bard? Like, because we have, like, Mage,
The girl is the
Fighter.
girl.
Was she, like, always on her cell phone? Was she, like, the I'm techie girl?
You know, I honestly can't remember.
Honestly, gosh.
See, this kind of harkens back to, like, you know, that age of bad writing for female characters where it's just like, I'm the girl. That's the purpose I serve.
Oh, that's me. Pigtails and all.
Yep.
Like, not to push you out of this, Pete, but is there any more water in the well?
There's honestly not. It's kind of just, yeah, like I said before, the show is just kind of the same episode over and over again. I mean, new jokes sometimes, and honestly, Jack Spicer's a pretty funny character to watch, but it's not something I would really recommend getting super invested in.
Yeah. It's X, like, we were talking about it last week, that it was like, there was a good amount of stuff, but X is just not there's not a lot of stuff with X. Although, as radical as the 90s were with the letter X, like, apparently not radical enough.
Yeah. Just not quite. Not quite. Sad that a generation, or that a decade priding itself on how radical it was, just wasn't quite radical at all. Certainly not more radical than its neighboring decades.
No. Well, because the neon colors got switched out for the gritty palettes.
Ugh.
And while that hat was backwards, you knew you wanted it to the side.
All right, so that is it for us this week. Let's start our wrap up. Bart, what's your favorite thing about Triple X?
I love all the stunts because, like I was saying earlier, they actually did the stunt. They actually threw a guy on a motorcycle. It's that, it's like The Thing and Total Recall, what they are to practical makeup effects in movies. This is to stunt work in movies. Because you're never going to see crazy stunts like this ever again. Because you can do it on blue screen. So why pay the money to actually have a guy go out there and do all this stuff?
Fair enough.
I will say, the one guy who's holding on to that, George Miller, Mad Max.
Yes. Oh, God. Fury Road was... that was a breath of fresh air. I mean, granted, there was, there was a lot of CGI, but there was, some beautifully real, just actual practical effects happening. It was so great.
The CGI was mainly backgrounds. It wasn't...
The fact that they actually made the vehicles, and not just made the vehicles, but even though we didn't learn the names for half of them, they gave all of them names. And Morton Joe's vehicle was called the Giga Horse, and I fucking love it.
Yes. The stunt that... Okay, anyways, I don't need to keep talking about Mad Max. We'll be here all day. Again.
Anyway, so what's something you hate about Triple X?
I hate bad... I don't know what I should call out. The bad CGI or the, slight sexism throughout the whole thing, or the... Oh, gosh. Because there's a part where, he's partying with the Russians, and they go, come, and then the B word. I'm like, I'm not cool with this. Is that okay that I'm not cool with this? None of this is cool. There's, your lead female character, and she's just dancing in her, skin-tight dress. It's I'm bored by all of this. Yeah, just, when it's good, it's great. When it's bad, there's a reason why nobody watches this movie anymore.
It's kind of it's one of those movies where it's I'm a man movie, and all the dudes are dude, you don't represent us. We're not with it, that movie. We're not, he's not, oh, god damn it, he keeps saying, now he's telling everybody else that he's a man movie, and he's telling us that men love him, and we're dudes, and god damn it.
You know what I'm going to single out? I'm going to single out the fact that everybody's from everything. Okay, actors can play any role they want, but the fact that the guys are supposed to be Russian. The movie's set in Prague. The movie was filmed in Austria. Your lead Russian is a New Zealander. Your second-in-command lady Russian is Italian.
Yeah.
The technology they stole was Soviet, so at least that part makes sense. It's just... one of those, they steal Italian cars.
The nationality of the villains wasn't crucial to the plot, so you could just say that the villains' nationalities were the actors' nationalities. That wouldn't hurt the plot one bit. But, you can't have a Vin Diesel movie make too much sense. Alright, so Bart, what's, who would you recommend Triple X to?
Oh, gosh. If you're a boy in high school, Just watch the movie. Because you can laugh at just how, like, well, not even. Because if you're a boy in high school, you're going to see the CRTs and be like, what is that? That's TV. That's not how TV looks. That looks like you shoved a light bulb inside of a box. Well, kind of what they did. Never mind. If you didn't watch it when you were younger, if you watched it but you've never finished it, if you like saw it on FX and you saw like 2 scenes through commercials but you never actually finished it, do that. If you're trying to watch every Samuel L. Jackson movie in history, because I'm sure that's a podcast somewhere, do that. But other than that, you have no reason to watch this.
Yeah.
At all. Ever. No. Because nobody sits down and is like, I'm going to watch all the Triple X movies. No.
You don't do that to yourself. You deserve better than that. Someone needs a hug.
All right, speaking of hugs and loving things, we're going to go back to talk about Xiaolin Showdown. Pete, why do you love it?
Honestly...
Or what do you love it? I could hear I don't. You're breaking up with a show. It's not you. It's definitely you.
So there are some good things about it, and probably my favorite thing is just like the Shangong Wu themselves, because you can tell after a certain point the writers are just like sitting in a room looking at a blank dry erase board, like how about a comb that makes like tentacles? And the other guy, he's just so tired, and like he's had nothing but Chinese food all week, and he's just like, fuck it, right? Put it on the board. I'm so fucking done.
Those kids WB writers making those stupid Christmas commercials with the Yu-Gi-Oh guy.
Oh, so bad.
That's what they had to do. And what do you hate about Xiaolin Showdown, Pete? I think I know what the answer is going to be.
Just it. See, I don't like it, but I don't really dislike it. It's just kind of meh. It's a very neutral show.
Is it one of those things that works better as nostalgia, but actually going down and like analyzing it, it's like, oh gosh, this isn't nearly as good as I remember.
It gives you the nostalzheimers.
Yeah, that also rings true for Triple X. So I think that's just kind of the theme of today's show.
It's just one of those things where it's like, oh hey, I remember that, but if you spend too long remembering it, you're gonna be like, man, it kind of sucked, didn't it?
Dude, I was watching Trigun, and I'm like, this animation is bad at times. Like,
yes, it is.
Lots of stills and stuttery movement, and I'm like, this wasn't. But this show's good. But is the show not good? Like, I was having a crisis. Luckily, Cowboy Bebop is beautiful, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
One of those Cowboy Bebop, you'll never betray me. And finally, who is Xiaolin Showdown a good fit for?
If you've watched all of Jackie Chan Adventures, and you're honestly like, I want more magical Chinese artifacts, fucking watch Xiaolin Showdown, but you're not gonna like it more than Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah.
So, there's that. Because Jackie Chan Adventures had Jackie Chan at the end of every episode.
Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan.
And Jackie Chan Adventures had Uncle. Everybody loves Uncle.
Uncle was great. And Toru?
Toru, yes. Yes, he started off as a bad guy, and then he was like a big, cuddly good guy.
And his mom, who was like this tiny, tiny little
so
Japanese
tiny,
lady.
but she would just like rap him on the knuckles every time he spoke out.
Another bit that I love in that show is Jackie's better. El Toro. Jackie. El Toro. Jackie. El Toro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great.
I'm playing Guacamelee, and it's like a big Mexican dude with a blue mask, so it helps if you think that he's just El Toro.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So, that basically does it for us this week. Want to give a special thanks to OK Go for their use of their song, Here It Goes Again, off their album Oh No. You know them, you don't know us. Fucking nobody knows us. We are nobody.
No.
Bart, what are you going to do next week?
Next week is Y. I'll probably do Yo Gabba Gabba.
Ah, right on.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do next week.
Ah, nice.
What about you, Pete? What are you doing next week?
I don't fucking know. All right, so, well, thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week with the letter Y. Come on back for our penultimate episode.
Ooh, it's going to be fun. Yeah. I get to talk about Muno and the Aquabats. And, another cool fact. So, letter C, I did a spy movie, and 3 letters from the end, I did a spy movie.
Ah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, right?
Nice.
That's cool to me and nobody else. Thanks for listening, folks.
All right, and bye, Sponch.
Bye, Sponch.